Okay, so just to recap, we understand there is a concept called resource manager. Resource manager is the one layer is here helping us to create the Azure resource groups, resources, and to do that, there are multiple ways to you can consume the resource manager from PowerShell or a CloudShell or a command line interface. So now we are going to use Visual Studio to create the same JSON file, because this time I'm not logged into my Azure portal. So simply I can go to my Visual Studio, just say like file new, and then you can click a file, and then you can look for a JSON file. So JSON file available. When you just click open and give the name, here you can see the same thing I have: schema, version, parameter, and then resources. So just for this is only storage one storage account, right? Just for having more workload, let's include something like the one we saw in the portal. Like the portal, we developed some scripting here. So the same thing I will use. So in this scripting, I'm going to include all my virtual network with 2 subnet. So I have created my JSON file and I'm saving. So whatever the resources I wanted to create, I already scripted. The script is ready in the format of JSON file. Now I'm going to my PowerShell window. Here, I'm going to run my script. So when you are creating a resource deployment, the command you are going to use is new az or es, you just say like type and then use a tab that will automatically tell you the group name, resource group deployment. So this is the one we are going to use for deploying the resources using the JSON file. So now I have selected the command. Now I need to pass the parameter name. Name is going to be like something that we can add like sample March demo. And then I'm going to give my resource group name. So the resource group name I created in the first place, I'm going to pass this resource group name. Then here I say like my resource group, because you know any resource you create, you have to group that under the one resource group name. So because I already created the resource group name here, the same resource group name I'm going to use it here. So which is rg_feb13. Now I need to call the template file, like the JSON file I created, which I'm going to use it here, template file. And then I'm going to say before, either you can just simply call the JSON file path here, the one you stored. When you create through Visual Studio, you stored in your local somewhere. You can simply call that location for because reusability. I'm going to create one variable here, like a template file. This is the path of my JSON file, and I'm going to call this path, the variable here, to my. I'm going to pass it to my template file. Then you need to pass some storage account. So I'm going to create some storage account. Storage. I'm not sure the storage is available. Let me check if it is available. So I have given complete script now. So I'm going to do a new deployment. Deployment name, resource group name, and template file. This is the template file I have scripted for one virtual network with multiple subnet. Then I'm giving the storage name. So when I select complete command and I run it, so I believe the storage account is not there, or template file together I have to run it. So just say, yeah, storage name is missing. So because the storage account is not there, we need to create that. Let me create one storage account, or the one we created previously, we can reuse it. Where is it? In my storage account here. Just give me a minute. I'm just going to get the. I'll just create one storage account. So we have the resource group name, the storage account name is missing. So I'm going to create the storage account. Okay, so I'll use the same name, and then I have to run a PowerShell script to create the script first. I have stored somewhere the sample of our storage account. So the resource group FB01, FB13, and FB13 add. The name is this. Storage account name, the location previously is Central US. Standard, the remaining same, create. Okay. Because in the previous demo, I created different resource group. That is why I'm creating a new resource, a new storage account on the same resource group, which we created through the PowerShell here. So we have the resource group name called RGFB13, the same one. I'm creating a storage account. And once the storage account available, I can just run this. So storage account is created. Let's run the script again, including of this. Okay, CLS. Parameter cannot be found that matches parameter name storage. Why storage name is missing? Is spell mistake. Sorry guys, just troubleshooting. Okay, resource group file install. What will happen if I just run if there is CLS? The storage account, the same name we used, I believe. Storage name, resource, go to the home, resource group.
It may be a dumb thing, Karthik. Should the storage, the S be in capital letters then?
That's what I'm thinking, like, but the command is not like that. We can use without that.
Because if you look at the other naming, naming thing, I mean, everything starts with a capital letter.
Yeah, I'm just checking that PowerShell create resource group. Because this time we are using different one. Okay, so the problem is, I got it. What is the problem? Here. So previously, the command was for this storage name. Okay, so instead of virtual network, because the command I previously used is just a storage account name, right? So this is the JSON file. I'm saving that again. So storage, I understand the problem now. So this is the sample I created first for creating a resources called the storage account, and the storage name is I'm giving here. So I'm going to run the same JSON file in the scripting. Basically, what we are doing, like we are going to create a storage account using the JSON file. In the JSON file, I already in the left hand side you can see I have created the storage account scripting, resources, and parameter name. So because in the parameter I need to pass here, so I'm going to say March MK Azure user group demo. Okay. So I have a JSON file that is going to create the storage account with this kind of location, SKU, what kind of storage v2, etc. So for that, the parameter value storage name, what I have mentioned here is the one I'm passing here. So is it clear now? So I'm using a resource template, group template. Name is sample, resource group name, the one we created before. And in that, I'm passing the template of JSON file. In JSON file, I actually have a storage account configuration. That storage account name I'm passing here. So if I run this along with the JSON thing, so the command is executed. Oops. Is not a valid according to the validation procedure. Sample merge demo. Where is it? This one. Because previously it is used. One. It's good that we are having some problem so that, okay, same error is not valid according to the valid procedure tracking ID is this. Okay.
Karthik.
Yeah.
The storage name is a complex object. So can you change that to a string instead of the parameter?
Yeah.
Where you
No, I
have the
think the
storage
problem.
name.
No, problem is not with the storage account now. I think the problem with this here the
I
problem.
mean, on the new Azure Resource Group template, sorry, deployment,
Yeah.
there is no parameter called storage name. So if you remove that and then change that to some specific string value on the storage name, remove that complex object, just have a name in there in the template file itself. And then
Yeah,
if
with
you
the
run it,
double
that should be
quotes.
okay.
Oh, sorry. Could be this double
Just
quotes.
copy that.
Yeah. So sorry, 1 minute. I think you understand. I understand what you're saying. The storage name here is actually the storage name mentioned here, the parameter.
Yeah,
But the
but that's a
problem.
complex object, but you're just specifying a name. If you come into the name in line number 15, where you say name equal to parameters of storage name, but
Yeah.
what is that it's going to take? I mean, it's a complex object. It says the storage name is a type, min length, and max length. So
Yeah.
can you just remove that, the complex object, just have it as a string?
Yeah. Just here you're saying hard coded.
I mean, you don't have to do that because that totally defeats the purpose of having a parameter. So if you go into the parameter, line number 5,
Yeah.
so instead of that complex curly braces, from the curly braces, remove up to line number 7. No, just leave that. Leave that parameter name like that. Yeah, from the curly braces on 5 up to 9, remove that. And then, no, from the curly braces, from the curly braces.
From here. Which means I'm completely removing
No,
the parameter.
from 5, from line number 5.
This one you're saying.
Yeah. And then have it as a name. Just specify whatever you have given in the Azure PowerShell into that.
Okay.
Just remove that and then provide a simple name there. Whatever you name provided in the PowerShell script, just provide it there, and then just to test it.
No, I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. Like, but I'm just seeing like what resource group is missing here. I think the resource group, it is trying to run it again here. This shouldn't be having a challenge. Resource group name is the one it is actually throwing the error here. I will come back to the one you mentioned, not well distributed.
Can you just maximize it and then let's see that error again?
Yeah. Did I save my,
error code?
first of all, this one I saved it, JSON file is saved, and path, template file path. Resource group name.
Yeah, the template file is not valid, Karthik. That's what it's saying.
Template file should be valid because now we saved this one.
It's a pre-validation check and it says the template is not valid. So if you remove from line number 5, the curly braces after the colon, yeah, just provide the simple string there. Storage name.
No, I think this is not, no, I understand, but this, there's no wrong with that, what do you call it, like the parameter here. There is some different issues with the script. If I just show you this. So if you're just simply running the resource group, right? I'm going to show you this.
Sorry, go back to your the template file. Yeah, in here. Parameters
I have simply parameter storage name. This is length is fine, but storage name is called here. What is it? East US or here it's location SKU deploy template. Okay, so I'm going back to the. Okay, I understand. I think I need to give the unique name for the storage account because the storage account already created. If I just remove this, this is my template file copied here, and then I'm giving you some new name. or the storage account, sample 123 March demo, and the resource group, the one we created here, or I can create a new one. Let me run this with this. Okay, so here for resource group 1 could not be found. Okay, it's not available one. So I'm using my previous resource group. Okay, I understand the problem. The problem I actually given new name. Add parameter is not developed according to tracking ID is. I think the name of this also causing error. Add name parameter also problem. Add name parameter. Why? So this should be already used. I think the resource group name, the name is actually not taking here. You can see sample demo is not valid according to the validation procedure. Tracking ID. The first name itself, it is causing error. I don't know why this is not accepted. What if I use something new one? Okay, and this should accept the value of SKU parameter. No, this name of the resource group is not accepting. What if I leave this without the name parameter? Still, it's not valid. Okay, the name parameter is missing. Okay. SKU parameter. Oh, storage SKU. Copy. Sorry, guys. Why this is causing me again and again. Small manual mistakes. Oh, sorry, something. Finally. So here, some of the things we're not able to see, like the command, because the next line here, can you see this last bit of the command, which is also missed from the previous one? That's why the error going. So the script is running now. We can basically what we did now, we have a template file, which is a JSON file, and the JSON file has a storage account, and the resource group name previously what we created here, we passing, and the JSON file path here, and then new storage name is given here. So now the command is executed. It says deployment is succeed. It creates a, this is the deployment name, this is the resource group name, succeeded, and the values are mentioned here. These are the things it is created. Now we are going to see the same thing from the browser. So I go to the source group. Feb B13 is the one we created. Here we can see the storage account, the one through the scripting, new STG demo 123. You can see the new STG demo 123, but the configuration of the storage account is the one same as what we created. So here in the JSON file, we said it should be in the East US location and storage v2, and it is default value standard LRS. So that we can going to verify here, East US and storage v2 and standard LRS. So these are the configuration we created. Sorry for the confusion. I think the scripting itself, I have made a mistake with the error here. Is there any doubt now? Like because I deviated a little bit, do you guys followed now, or is there any issues which we can clarify now?
The one which Karthi,
Yeah.
the one which created successfully. Can I see that script file, JSON file, please?
So in the JSON file, we have a parameter, storage name, and the minimum character is 3, maximum character is 24, and then the storage SKU is the value we are passing for the. So here in this resources, we are actually needed two parameters. One is storage name, another one SKU name. So that is why the parameter has a two section. So actually the resource is the one we are creating, storage account we are creating, and name we are passing through parameter, and then the SKU we are passing through parameter.
Yeah,
But the problem is not with the JSON file. Problem was with this command. Like I don't know whether you're seeing the colon here. Do you see the colon here?
I can't.
Okay, so because it is in the next line, there is a.
So the basic problem is there must be two parameters, like
previous. No, not that is not that is not the problem. The problem with the command I executed here, which has not had this particular thing.
The colon which is missing, that one.
Yeah, colon plus the name value. You are also partially right that the name value was used here, was not mentioned properly. So the command, I had some error in the command. Nothing to do with the JSON file. JSON file, either I run it this one or the other one.
So basically, you mean the script syntax error, kind of.
Yeah, syntax error. Let me run this one now so that we'll know. Okay, copy. So the same one without two parameter, only one resource group or like add parameter. Okay. So I have another sample. So this is the one we previously used, right? So for this one, and parameter name, JSON file is this one. Unique name we need to pass it. Sample. And then the resource group name, same resource group name I select. Okay, something wrong with this name, I believe, in the other one. Add parameter is not valid according to the validation procedure. I think this name is causing me problem.
Because you are trying to create the second storage name, so you need to give a new name or something like that, because it's already used, right, for previous one.
Could be, that could be the reason. What if I just say new? Yeah, still not accepting. I think the name of the deployment is causing problem again. Why? Did I save this? Save. Yeah, now I saved it. I think I look into this. The name here is the causing a problem. Quickly, I want to show something else as well. So through Visual Studio, I think session is going to end now, but I have a couple of demo. Do you guys mind if the session closed? Can you rejoin if you don't mind? I
Yeah.
want to show you. So, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm opening my Visual Studio. So I opened Visual Studio. The same thing we are going to explore through Visual Studio. I create a Visual Studio, new project. And then I'm selecting a resource group here. The other way of creating these resources. And I gave my project name, create. So now I'm going to select the web app. So this time we are going to create a web app through Visual Studio and then click OK. So I don't know that you're able to see this here. So now I have my Visual Studio files created. And in this one, I'm going to customize the resource template. So when you click this website JSON file, because we selected JSON file has values here. So because I added resources at the time as a website, you can see website. If you want to add a new resources, right click, add a resource. So in the previous sample, we created the JSON file, but if you use a resource group, Visual Studio will help you to create a resource, the JSON file. For example, with this app website, I'm adding a logic app and say sample logic app add. So now you can see another resources added, sample logic app. This command, it is created by Visual Studio. So instead of you writing from line by line, you can use a Visual Studio by just simply right clicking and adding another resource. The JSON file automatically created. Once you created this, you can just go to the Visual Studio project, right click and say deploy. When you deploy, this will automatically run the same JSON file using the PowerShell command within the Visual Studio. Will automatically call your cloud service to deploy. One more thing to remember, these comes with the deploy command PS1 file. These actually using, because the Visual Studio launched that time, the command was, you can see here, resource Azure RM command. So if you remember, I told you that Azure RM commands are decommissioned. Now it becomes a command called AZ command. So this need to be replaced. If you are using a Visual Studio, you have to go to the Google and the Microsoft website. They have given you to replace this command with the AZ command, or you can also replace this command with the new command available in the cloud. So I'm just going to, I have one more project. New. So the Visual Studio is very easy to create your resources, but only thing you need to remember, once you design your JSON file, before you deploy, you will have to make a changes to your default deploy file, because the command used in the Visual Studio, or where is it, easy resource RM context. The Azure RM is the decommissioned PowerShell module. So the new module called AZ. So I copied from internet and replaced here. Now the replaced command, you can see AZ command. Can you see this one? Now
Yeah.
there is no Azure RM, so everything is AZ. So this is the current problem with Visual Studio. It's not a problem because when they launched Visual Studio, it was Azure RM command. After that, it becomes AZ command. So they are asking us to replace this file. Whenever you create a project through Visual Studio, you simply replace this deploy Azure resource group file with the new command. The command is available. This is standard command. You can just copy paste from internet. This can be used because this is not going to change. The default file, this deploy file is not going to change now and then. You are only going to change your JSON file. So make sure if you are trying to use Visual Studio, this deploy file is replaced. Okay, and I'm going to again request you guys to rejoin. I want to show you a couple of other demos, then we can close it. Maybe like in another 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes,
I'll
sure.
stop and rejoin. Please rejoin in the same session.
Okay.